How we doing today, man? I was not trading yesterday morning. I was celebrating one of my friend's 21st birthdays. Was out late. Was tired, and was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna trade tomorrow morning." It looked pretty choppy right in the start of the AM. So I don't know if I would have really gotten anything. I don't know if I would have lost because I do think I would have had a bullish bias. So I don't think the bullish setups would have really lost. Maybe just some break evens that I could have potentially gotten. So not really the worst day to miss. Not too upset about that. Coming into the day, market open right now. Again, I'm just going to record the full session like I've done before. We have an SMT right now in with these lows here, which is not London low. Not London low, it's just a random low. But I have this 15-minute gap marked out. I want to see us manipulate inside of here, maybe an SMT. And I want to see the trend continue higher. If we look at the higher time frame, Monday we rip up. Cool. Tuesday we put in a nice SMT here and dumped lower. We rebalanced to equilibrium of this range, held this fair value gap. And then yesterday we were holding this 1 hour gap. So I would have had the bullish bias because we were in a bullish uptrend starting. And now we're completely bullish again today. So, yeah, does it look like we could use a little retrace on this chart? It does, absolutely. But am I going to really be the one trying to sit here and call that? No, I'm going to be looking for longs. So I want to be seeing some sort of continuation. We have this news low right here that we've just swept. We're about to sweep the news low, and then we'll see what we get from there. So I will be looking to take trades higher potentially, and we'll kind of reevaluate. If the market keeps dumping, we'll look for Asia lows as well. So we have a slight SMT on the higher time frame as ES has not grabbed this high, and NQ has. So a little bit of an SMT there, but again, I'm not really too bearish. I don't really think I can become too bearish in this chart. The new day opening gap high is down here as well, or the new day opening price, the 1800 price. So just gonna let market do its thing. I'm not in a rush to place a trade, but I am excited to potentially, just watch markets today and maybe get a trade. So again, we do want to keep in mind this SMT right here off open. We're starting to get legs up. I bet if we inverse this gap, we'll probably just continue higher through all these highs. Hopefully we don't, because it's not a trade I will take, but I'm sure it will work because of the SMT and the data low sweep. So we did not inverse that gap. I guess we did, but I don't like that trade at all. I want to see us continue to chop and build more structure. Got market open, so yeah, looking for that today. So yeah, that's why I didn't trade at all yesterday. I didn't even really open the charts till after the day ended. Didn't make a video because, I didn't trade. And that's the beautiful thing about trading is you don't have to trade every day. It's not a job that you don't have to call your boss and say you're sick. You don't have to call your boss and say that you're not coming in today, that you got some other obligations. Like, you can just do whatever you want. And, you don't have to rely on any boss. So it's a really beautiful thing. And take advantage of it every once in a while, right? I like to be locked in normally and trade every day and look for opportunities and learn. But you don't have to. So that's, I think, the key. So this looks like really good. Let's see. Would this even be a bad trade? Would be a 1-to-1. You could take a 1-to-1 here. Such a strong flip. But the SMT, ES has more room. Such an easy trade, but just isn't on my model. These are the type of trades I've been working recently, where you just get a really aggressive flip off open. This is a very easy to spot trade, but I just don't like taking these types of trades personally. Go break even at the 26s. So yeah, we can let it go. We can be fine with that. There'll be more opportunities today, hopefully. We can let it go. So that would be the break-even point. So if I were to have gotten in on this close, we'd be at break-even under this candle low. We wouldn't want to see it come back lower. That'd be interesting. So the account's chilling, man. We're at 189. Our goal is to get to $1,000, and then we were taking our first payout. That's it. That's this plan. Simple as that. So that'll be. I'm pretty stoked about that. But yeah, man, this week's been cool. That's why I love this job, making content and trading. Like, obviously I don't get paid crazy yet, so we probably would have been stopped out break even there. Even though I guess you don't even really have to go break even on this trade, but if you wanted a break even point, it'd been here. So this trade is going to play out to the high potentially. Hopefully we leave it though, because then we'll have a nice target for later. But let's just watch it, right? We don't have to worry either way. But yeah, so I love this. I always say I love this job, man, because it's just so beautiful. Because Monday, I finished trading, and what was Monday? Well, no, I went surfing Monday, but Tuesday I finished trading for the day, and I got dropped off, took a winner, made a little bit of money, went to the beach, surfed a few hours, like beautiful. Like, what other job are you done by 10 or whenever it is? So that's why you do go break even these internal highs, because when you do get this flip, it should be quick. So a bunch of people are about to get wrecked on this position. Again, it's not like the greatest model, right? But I mean, maybe some people didn't lose. I don't know. Maybe if their stop's here, they're still in it. But you wouldn't want to see this, right? You wouldn't really feel too comfortable playing this trade out if you see this move. But if you did get in on this candle, you would have been able to get maybe a partial off. Nah, 17 points. Maybe not. Maybe you just take a break even or a loss. But so far it hasn't lost. Maybe it still flips, but it's kind of hectic price action there. And that's why I don't really love trading right at market open. Sometimes it does some funky stuff, man. But we still are bullish, the 5-minute printed bullish, and now we're starting to go. So maybe we just flipped everyone out of their positions, liquidate everyone. Who knows, right? That's why you don't trade market open, and you just let it do its thing. ES is holding this BPR right here. But yeah, so anyways, I kind of want to finish my point. Trading, man, like, where else? Like I said, yesterday I didn't trade at all. I didn't even show up to the markets. I didn't show up to my job, apparently, right? Where else are you going to be able to do that? Where you can just tell your boss, hey, man, I'm not coming in today. Like, sorry about it. Sorry about it, buddy. I'm not coming in. So that's, like, a pretty unique experience. So it is pretty cool to see. What's up? I'm just making my video live today. I mean, you can talk. I mean, it's just, what are you going to say?
I'm going to be on the thing.
Yeah. Well, like, just give me for a second.
Let me just see.
But, see what?
Just watching.
Okay. But, so yeah, man, I mean, it's really cool because you don't have to tell anyone if you don't want to show up for a day. And that's like why we all are trying to become traders, I guess. It's because of just the freedom that you can get. So, unfortunately, I think that the waves, though, that have been here have left. So, you know, that's why you take advantage of the days when they come through. But right now, just seeing it, people would have been faked out on that move to the upside after the SMT. And then the flip, so glad we didn't want to take that. And it still could work, but it's a lot more choppy and sloppy. So now I'm going to wait a little bit closer to 10 to take a trade. Same idea. I want to see us get lower. I want to see us re-manipulate in this 15-minute gap, because that would be equilibrium of the Asia and London session, I believe, on ES as well. So I would want to see us get a little bit lower. Just need to see where that was again. So I guess we did hit equilibrium of on ES, but not in Q. So I do want to see us resweep that low potentially, because we have kind of chopped a little bit too much for my liking to go long, but we still are looking at longs because of the SMT with these lows here. So just playing out really sloppy if it does, which is always fine to not be a part of. But how did you guys do yesterday trading, since I did not look at the charts? I assume a lot of people took losses. I saw a few people lost on Twitter. It looked pretty choppy, so I could see that a lot of people will probably lose. But the actual direction of the market made a lot of sense. It just until about 10:30, we didn't really get a clean move in the clean direction. We chopped up and down. So I guess if you traded after 10:30, you probably did all right. And we're gonna just look like we're just gonna keep pumping up here. Hopefully we don't. But closing this strong here, it looks like it's ready to just go to those highs. Yeah, we're gonna go take out those highs. Now, a potential short off these highs wouldn't be the worst ever idea if we have the S&T. Just because, right, the alternate idea was that we could have a sell-off since we've been only moving up for so long. So I actually don't mind maybe looking for a short, even though I don't like shorting that much. See if we sweep out that high with an S&T with the fair value gap to inverse. See, this would be a really quality inverse because we have built up liquidity already, and we showed that we wanted to sell through this area. So we just swept the high. Now I'll definitely keep in mind the shorts. As long as we don't just keep going too high above these highs. But hopefully we have a simple day. Don't have to think too much and just can make a good trade. See, that's the exact reaction I want to see. Close like that, and then I'd want to see this fair value gap stay open. Okay, nice. So now an inversion here would look pretty good. We have the S&T right here with these highs. ES is nowhere near them. NQ swept them out. So it might not mean much because we are continuing here, but if we do get a push lower and a close below, then that does look great. So we're holding this 15-second gap though. So we just re-swept the high. That is a internal S&T with the 1 minute, but that doesn't really matter too much. I like that we're showing just weakness off this high, so I would want to see a move lower. I'm going to double check news. Looks like was at 8:30, and then there's nothing else really, but Trump does speak at 4 p.m., so, you know, maybe we chop more today because of that. Wouldn't be surprised. But let's see. This is where I'd expect to start selling off to get that trade. See what the stop loss would be. About 20 or 30 points. Not too bad. We have our take profit at low of market session for one, and then we let the rest go somewhere else. Would go break even at the internal swing low. So it looks like we're actually going to get it here. 60. So if we do close below, I think we're good to go on this. Wow, we're just dumping too much. That's annoying. Now we have an S&T there. We are in there.
Order filled.
That kind of stinks because that means our stop loss is a little bit bigger. And we have an S&T at that low, but hopefully we continue to go through. But yeah, we're gonna still go break even at that low. Don't love this trade now. I mean, I don't love the entry. I still like the trade idea. I think it'll work out. But let's see. Strong flip here. Should continue. I don't want to see it stop at all. So if we hit that break-even point, don't love how we are kind of stopping the speed here. I don't like the SMT with ES. We need to drop lower to get the break even if we can. I do like that candle. If we can continue. Okay, we are now break even. First take profit just got maybe hit in a second. Can't lose on this trade. I'm surprised that the first take profit didn't get hit. And we're going to get stopped at break even, it looks like. Very unfortunately. Wow, it's going to be a pretty gnarly break-even stop if we don't get first take profit.
Order filled.
Okay, first take profit. So, not a crazy take profit because the entry was super bad. The entry wasn't bad, but the close was really low, so it gave us a bad entry. We're gonna just let this thing play out towards these lows I was looking for, anyways. I'm actually just gonna target a 50-point move here and just be done with the day, because we should continue the flush quick here at this lows. If not, then we're probably going to just go back higher and chop. But yeah, nice trade. Want to see speed through these lows. There it is. I actually am going to extend my take profit and just trail stop below the 50 points. Don't want to see us soup that low. Which we did. Okay, ES grabbed that same low that I was thinking about, so I'm going to be more aggressive with take profit here. Because ES is where I'd want to see his reverse. I actually might even just flatten this trade.
Order filled.
Closing the rest there just because of this. The idea behind this trade was, or the idea behind today was to see us get into this 15-minute gap and then continue higher. And ES is in that gap. NQ is not near. We have a big SMT there. I'm still bullish on the higher time frames. So I just wanted to continue close that so that we don't miss out on the rest. So we didn't really make as much as we could have on this trade if we just took everything off at this data low right here, which is a MNQ data low. I think NQ's data low was already taken before this trade, but actually, yeah, it was barely just swept. So we might continue lower in NQ, but just seeing this reaction after sweeping out this low right here, we closed back above and then we had a green candle. With this type of speed, we shouldn't really be getting green candles if it's going to be pretty efficient. And then the fill was so low that the break-even point was so close relative to the trade that I wasn't exactly confident that we weren't going to be able to just stop out for break-even there. So the account is now at $267, $266. Obviously, the goal, we just have to get to $1,000, and then we can take our first payout. So this will be my trade for today. Nothing crazy. Kind of just want to see how the market plays out, though. But yeah, it was kind of unfortunate that this entry was so low below. I mean, it could have been, it was about 10 points lower. I guess nothing too crazy, but could have just taken our first take profit down here for 34 points. But we took it off for 26 points. Not the end of the world. So we'll see. I think that this would be a nice long entry if we do get this, but I'm not going to take it because I just took shorts. But this is exactly what I was wanting to see for long. So we would have got stopped down the runner potentially, so that's kind of cool to see. This is where you have to kind of use the discretion to close trades. ES was just dropping aggressively to that place, and we showed a lack of speed below the lows I wanted to see us push through. So, yeah, overall it was a great trade. It just didn't have the highest profit margins, and it still could flip. It still could hold this gap and flip lower, but that actually means that we officially have the biggest we have the biggest balance this account's seen, and we pulled all the drawdown back. So we actually have a loss limit of $2,060. So I'm going to take this on paper right here because this looks like a great long.
Order
so
filled.
we are in on paper. I'm going to go ahead and lock my account for the day because we took our one trade. Obviously, it's a lot easier to lock the accounts when you win. So now we have two accounts with full drawdown, and we actually have way more than on the fresh account. So the fresh account is $115 positive, and this account is $266. So we are about 1/4 of the way to a potential payout. So this trade is already looking decent. The stop would be at the swing low. You'd be targeting the high. You could take a profit, and I think this one's going to really run. So this trade actually looks like it has a lot more potential than the first one. ES is even starting to get through where I want to see it get through, and we can just watch this one play out, and then I think that will be my day done before even 10 a.m., which is pretty nice. So we need to see this gap inverse as well, but with this speed off these lows, the shorts do not look great anymore. So really happy that I closed that last part of my trade for a little bit more profit, because when I saw that green candle come in, I really did expect it to be kind of over with. I wish I just took both of my micros off at the most prominent swing low. That would have kind of made a lot more sense, I believe. But I didn't want to limit the potential downside if we really were dumping. But it looks like we weren't. So happy with that and the way we managed it. So that's a really strong close. I do expect that this trade will work really, really well and quickly. Again, just not taking it just due to the fact that I am trying to take one trade if I can. So why would I take another trade if I did take a technically winner, even though, $77 on a day doesn't sound like much, but we are just working for our first payout. So we don't really worry about the dollar amount. We're just trying to chip away and get closer. So we are rejecting this balanced price range and that first presented inversion. So this will be pretty interesting to see. I really don't, I can't imagine we are going to go lower from here. I think if we do, it makes today immediately less probable because of how choppy that would be for a market open. But we already got our trade, we got our day done, so it doesn't really matter anyways. But this right here is a little bit of a crossroads. So we could really go either way. If we get a close above this down close candle, I think that this trade will play out. It has just immediately boost the chances and double that this trade plays out. So let's see that. I think we're about to get it. Plus, we need to close back above that first presented gap. But again, like I said, if we don't go higher from here, this just makes the market very choppy because market open would have came up, dropped down, ran higher, ran lower, ran higher, ran lower. Like when you start picking 5, 6 different directions, it can be very tricky. So right now, we did get the order block, so now I'd want to see it have some speed off the order block, so we just tagged into it. Now I'd want to see it continue to expand higher in this next candle right here. So let's see. If we get a move higher, this is where I'd want to see a strong close and make a new high. Would not want to see us fail to put in a high there. ES is doing the same thing. ES does not have the order block, but we are holding the fair value gap, so that could get broken. We could get the inversion down there on ES and get a long on ES as well. So I'll actually look to take that on this paper account as well, right here. So if we get this close on the ES 1 minute, with 20 seconds, we could go long there as well. But it is slightly rejecting. ES has a lot more room to the upside, but ES is the more bearish one. So we did put in a new high, but we wicked it and we've closed back on the order block. So it still looks good for longs. We tagged into this fair value gap, closed back above the up close, but let's just check the 5 minute and 15 minute. 15 minute, 5 minute. If you look at the 15 minute, it is starting to frame a very improbable day because it's just looking like it doesn't have a direction. And ES and NQ aren't really correlated. We have 2 down close candles on the 15 minute time chart on NQ and ES, or on ES, 2 down close, NQ 2 up close. So if I had to choose, I would say we're going higher because that was the idea before market even opened. But it is a little bit sloppier, so this trade would be a little bit frustrating to be in live if I was in this trade. Not because it's not working out, but because we would have spent so much time in this area kind of rejecting this gap that I'd start to overthink the entry. But if you did get a really good fill, I guess we didn't technically close above this fair value gap right here, but that is so close. But yeah, so we keep rejecting this area. We cannot seem to get a strong close above here. We just swept this low, which would probably be a 2-minute gap. Yeah, a 2-minute fair value gap. So maybe we were just waiting to do that and then continue higher. ES is breaking lower, but NQ is still holding strong. So I really can't imagine. We have that very, very strong 5-minute rejection wick here off these lows, and we had a very strong push and close higher. But then the 15-minute, we have a very strong rejection wick off the top too. So it is really could go both ways now. But that 2-minute tag is really solid, especially if we get a nice flip and strong up-close candle out of it. If we do. And wow, that must be news. I don't know what that was. But it is going higher now. That was insane. That was a 30-point move in 2 seconds. Not even 2 seconds, half a second. So should take profit now. This is where if I was in this trade, I would be at break even 100% because especially after that crazy volatility, we should run higher. And ES got the inversion now, or almost did. So I would be surprised if first take profit doesn't get hit here.
Order
So
filled.
there's first take profit on the long. Well, the long is definitely working better than our short was because we made more on one micro than we did on both of our micros on the other play. So that's how it goes, though. That's how trading is. Sometimes you're not gonna get the best trade. That's the one thing about one trade a day that does stink sometimes, is that sometimes the trade you take isn't really the one of the day, and maybe just the manipulation for the trade of the day. So this is exactly kind of what I would have framed before the day started. This is a very, very clean day. And I guess I'll just keep managing this trade while I review this because, yeah, that is definitely day done. If I didn't take either of these two trades, I would not be looking to take a trade because shorts no longer make as much sense to me because we used the shorts, we used this high to come down, grab the shorts, make the SMT, and go higher. And then longs, I no longer really want to take longs because we've already swept London highs and swept the internal New York highs again. So at this point, I wouldn't want to be playing this much of a range. I like to play these types of ranges, but not a second or third time, because then you start getting to the point where you start failing to take out swing highs. So, yeah, now we're continuing to go higher. So I'm just going to close
Order
this
filled.
here so we can get rid of this bracket, and then I'll go over this day here. So that was a very easy, nice trade. I'm going to screenshot this. So that we just played both sides of the market in a matter of minutes and won both sides easily. Both same entry model. So just get this screenshot. Right here for Twitter. Boom. So right there looks good. But yeah, so I kind of want to go over this day because it played out almost exactly how I would have expected, besides taking the highs out first. So on the higher time from the 4-hour here, we're clearly bullish. There's nothing about this chart that tells me we're going to go lower at this time. We had this big sell-off the other 2 days. Then this week, this is where we started the week, and we moved straight up. Tuesday had a little rebalance to the 4-hour gap, and then Wednesday continuous higher all the way overnight. I don't expect us to slow down until we get all-time highs, or we just break structure to the downside. So in my mind, I'm never playing shorts here for a longer-term thing, even though I did take a short today. But obviously there's reasons for that. And then, so the higher time frame, we have that. The 1 hour, we have similar idea, same thing. And then on the 15-minute, this is where I started to frame my day because I work within the different sessions. I was looking at if I turn on this session indicator, I was looking at London and Asia. With London and Asia, I saw, right, I didn't expect us to sweep Asia session low because of how strong we were, but I saw this unfilled fair value gap here on ES and NQ that was around the midpoint of the move. up overnight that I wanted to see if we were going to put an SMT, which we do. We put in an SMT here, and I wanted to see that then be the move out of the 15-minute fair value gap in the midpoint of this range right here from the Asia session to New York session. We had this midpoint that we tagged into an ES. So that was the framework behind the longs. That's where I wanted to see the longs play out from, is over there. So the day started though, and we started the day, the start of the morning, with a bullish SMT off of these random lows right here. We came up, we pump, but then we throw in another SMT on the higher time, or on the London highs. We throw in an SMT right here. So we have an SMT on both sides, which gives me the idea that we're going to potentially want to trade lower. And then we have the first presented gap got flipped really aggressively right here on the 2-minute. There's also the 1-minute. We flipped that here. We get in short. We had this low on NQ that we end up running out. And we have relative lows here. We have all these stacked lows on the 1-minute as well. So we get in right here and we trade lower to this low. You go break even because we run through the low at 936. Hit the low of the New York session open, and then we tag this low and start reversing off of it. Definitely could have just made more money if we just took both off at that low and just went break even at this low, but it's kind of hard to predict. We are getting a really strong rejection now off this high, so this is where if I hadn't traded, I'd probably be looking to turn off my charts because I would have missed 2 good trades, and then you don't want to really force anything after this, especially when there's no real clear direction now. I do expect the market to be pretty choppy the rest of the day, especially just because we're getting this big strong push now after taking the high. There's no follow through any levels. We have another SMT at the internal high here at 940, so it just kind of mess all over the place. Nothing really too clear. But then the real move that I wanted to see happen was when we sold off on this move where we were taking our shorts. The reason why I actually ended up closing the runner was because I saw ES hold the midpoint of that 15-minute gap, which is where I wanted to see us hold anyways, and get a rejection off of it with a green candle right after. So that to me was like, I'm going against my higher time frame bias anyways. Let me close this last runner for the last 15 or 20 points that's up right now. I don't want to see this thing go back to 0 because I'm anticipating now that we're going to get that reversal off this low, which we do. So the trade that we would have framed, which would have been the longs, we would have framed that long really, really well. We could have got in, like I said, around here, and then stop kind of at that rejection area, take profit 38 points. Would have been a really, really solid day, but we already had the trade before, so we weren't going to take a second one. But that's why this long was actually so much better quality than the short, because it kind of lined up with the higher time frame. So either one was fine, but I do wish I took the long because it would have made more and it was a better quality trade. We end up kind of tagging back into this fair value gap. We got the order block. We end up holding the order block with our wicks, and then we got that really crazy candle out of nowhere, and it delivered to the highs, and then the day was officially done. So that's really all I got. I'm not going to sit here the rest of this session. I mean, I'm going to sit here on my own for a little bit and watch it, but that's the beauty with trading. Your day was done. I mean, my day was done earlier, but definitely would be done at 10 o'clock. So 30 minutes today, and then you're done with the day. And at least this video isn't 3 hours long like some of the days. And normally when I make these videos where I film the whole session, I actually have been on a losing streak with these days. So it is nice to have an easy day, an easy winning day, and just move on. We've been really, really green recently. Another winning day. Obviously, it's a small winning day, but I'm trading 2 micros, right? We're not looking to take the most insane trades with full size all the time or big size, and we didn't hit our full, or we didn't get the biggest take profit out of this trade as well. So another reason why this trade was smaller is because we actually closed the runner when it started moving against us, which was good because it would have kept going, but instead of taking profit at these lows. So I probably got a little bit greedy on this trade, but again, you never really, you didn't know which one was going to get to that low first. NQ could have been the one to get to the 15-minute gap, or ES. So maybe I should have just taken them all off at that low-hanging fruit, but it is just hard when you have 2 micros. You try and want to maximize as much as you can instead of just realizing that the points-wise is fine, right? Because if we took this trade and just took it all off at the swing low down here, that would have been 33 points, and that's like more than enough. It would have been a 1-to-1. So it's not the most prettiest trade ever, but it would have been a 1-to-1. and you can take it off for 33 points, and that gets you around $120 something, so like $50 more than you would have gotten, which goes a long way. So taking profit, it's always hard. It's always easier in hindsight. You can always obviously tell where the best spot would have been. Obviously, now we know it would have been great to take it off here. But if we took them both off here and it ran another 100 points, then you're going to sit there and wonder why you didn't leave more. So you can never really worry about your take profits, especially when you don't have many contracts to trade. So yeah, we've been really, really green recently. The account is officially out of drawdown, and we actually have a little bit of a buffer, even though this is going to go away tonight when they reset the accounts. But since the 16th of June, we've only had last week where we weren't trading well, but since 16th of June, we've made $1,500 with about 2 to 4 micros. 90% of the trades have been with 2 micros, and we've taken 14 losing trades, and 52 winning trades. But some of these were probably break evens for small wins, so those don't really count too much. But yeah, we've made $3,300 and we've lost $1,800, so we've profited $1,500 in that time period, which is really, really cool, because it just shows a consistency that I've never done without breaking my rules. Obviously, the 31st and the 29th, we did break our rules, but we've been locked back in ever since then. So hopefully we can continue it Friday. Friday should be interesting. I don't know if we'll run. If we don't continue higher today, I don't know if we will be able to get all the way up to the all-time highs on Friday, because this is a pretty crazy weekly candle. From the market open of this week, we are up 3.5%. So that would be a 4% move, 1,000-point move in 1 week just to get back to the all-time highs, which could happen, but a lot of times you see Friday kind of cap the range and pull back. And I wouldn't mind seeing Friday pull back and maybe just either not trade it or be very careful trading tomorrow. So if you guys haven't subscribed or liked the video, do that. Let me know how you guys did today. Did you guys catch shorts or longs, or did you miss both? And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll be live streaming in the Discord for free, obviously, the whole session. And yeah, if you guys are going to get an account with Alpha Futures or Apex, use code Diego. The Alpha Futures Zero plan is still pretty cool. They're not doing the deal they were doing all of July, so it's full price. But you get 10% off, I believe, when you use my code regardless. So that's cool and helps me out. So if you guys are getting accounts with either of those, make sure to use code Diego. And I'll see you guys again in the next one. Peace out.